Welcome to another episode of Dear ADHD Family Coach with Leslie Josel.
Okay, is my child chronic indecisiveness related to executive functioning? Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. And did I say yes? Okay. In the previous webinar, I mentioned to you about open-ended questions. How many of you have a child at home when you ask them, what do you want for dinner? When do you want to leave? What do you want to wear? Do you want to buy that? Whatever it is, they go, I don't know. Executive functioning brains, I keep saying it, and it's a theme. I should have just made this called cognitive overload. The more decisions your child has to make, the harder the brain has to work. And some of your child, their brains are too weak to do that. And therefore that cognitive overload sets in and they're going to be like, I don't know. So a few things. Open-ended questions, really, really tough. So again, choices. Do you want this or do you want that? Should we leave then or leave here? Do you want to go here or go there? Okay, as much choices as you can helps to take that huge cognitive overload and do. Okay, lots of information being processed is also very difficult for your child, right? So if the decisions are too big, if the decisions are too vague, they're going to shut their head down because it's too much information for them to hold. Remember working memory? This is where the working memory piece of executive functioning comes in. If they have too much to process, it's not going to super glue to their brain. So again, I'm using terms we used in that first video or that first webinar, guys. So I really am going to keep saying this. You should go back and watch it because it'll explain some of the terminology that I'm using here, right? Remember the working memory, the whole super gluing to the brain. So if there is too much they have to process and too much information to take in, they're not going to be able to do it if they have weak working memory. The other thing that happens is the decisions require sequencing. It requires sometimes ordination. It requires prioritization. And young executive functioning brains have a tough time doing that because they have a hard time prioritizing tasks. So they don't even know if the options you're even giving them, like what's important, what's not. So again, brain shut down. Like if I choose this, then what happens next? I don't know. Oh my goodness, my brain is flooded. And yes, your child fears making the wrong decision. They do. Trust me, they do. So that piece is involved here also. So you want to limit the open-ended questions and you want to limit the choices. So for example, if your child has a tough time deciding what to wear, get those 3 outfits, get them out of the closet, bring them to another room so they're not even reminded that there's a whole closet somewhere else. I love that. And again, less is more here. Less is more. This is where your organization piece comes into. Too much stuff, is too much decisions, too many games, too many toys, too many books, too many, right? Even snacks. Have one basket, and some of my families have one basket. There's maybe 4 kinds of snacks, and that's the kid's basket because everything is limited. When you limit, it's less cognitive overwhelm. I like playing this or that, which is, again, just a cuter way of doing choices. And this is an interesting one. I do this with my college students is I write down past decisions they've made so that if they're struggling with some decision making, we can go back. What do I mean by that? So for example, if they were having a hard time initiating on a paper and got up and moved to a different location and worked outside under a tree with their favorite like iced tea, I write that down. So if that decision comes up again, they have something to refer back to.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. And if you want to be notified when a new Dear ADHD Family Coach episode drops, make sure to hit that subscribe button.